Part 1. Lost in the Forest. A poor woodcutter lived near a big forest. He had a wife and 2 children. The boy's name was Hansel, and the girl's name was Gretel. The family had very little food. One day there was almost nothing to eat at all. At night, the father said to his wife, "What can we do? We have no food for the children." The woman said, "Tomorrow we will take the children into the forest. We will make a fire for them. Then we will go away and not come back. They will not find the way home." The father said, "No, I cannot do that. The wild animals will hurt them." But his wife talked for a long time, and in the end, the man said yes. He felt very sad. The children were not sleeping. They heard everything. Gretel began to cry. She said, "Now everything is over for us." Hansel said, "Do not cry, Gretel. I will help us." He waited until the old people were sleeping. Then he got up, put on his coat, and went outside. The moon was shining brightly. Small white stones were on the ground in front of the house. They looked like silver coins. Hansel put as many stones as he could into his coat pocket. Then he went back to bed. In the morning, the woman woke up the children early. She gave each child a small piece of bread. "This is your lunch," she said. "You will not get anything else." They all walked into the forest together. Hansel walked slowly. He often stopped and looked back at the house. His father asked, "Hansel, why do you stop? Keep walking." Hansel said, "I am looking at my little cat. It is sitting on the roof." The woman said, "That is not a cat. That is the sun on the chimney." But Hansel was not looking at a cat. He was throwing the white stones from his pocket onto the road one by one. When they reached the middle of the forest, the father made a big fire. "Sit here and rest," said the woman. "We will go and cut some wood. We will come back in the evening." Hansel and Gretel sat by the fire. They ate their small pieces of bread. They heard sounds from the trees. They thought it was their father cutting wood, but it was just a dry branch moving in the wind. After a long time, the children closed their eyes and fell asleep. When they woke up, it was dark night. Gretel began to cry. She said, "How can we get out of the forest?" Hansel said, "Wait for the moon. Then we will find the way." When the moon rose in the sky, the white stones on the road started to shine like silver coins. Hansel took Gretel's hand, and they followed the stones all night. When the sun came up, they were at their father's house. They knocked at the door. The woman opened it. She did not look happy. She said, "You bad children, why did you sleep in the forest so long? We thought you were never coming back." But the father was very happy. He had been sad every minute since he left them alone. Part 2. Breadcrumbs and a House of Sweets. Soon there was very little food again. One night the children heard their mother say to their father, "We have only half a loaf of bread left. The children must go again. We will take them even deeper into the forest this time. They will not find the way back." The father's heart was heavy. He wanted to share the last bread with his children, but his wife did not listen to him. He was weak, and he said yes again. The children heard all of this. Hansel got up when the old people were sleeping. He wanted to go outside and pick up white stones again, but the door was locked. He could not go out. He went back to Gretel and said, "Do not cry. God will help us." In the morning, the woman took the children out of their beds. She gave them an even smaller piece of bread than before. On the way into the forest, Hansel broke his bread into very small pieces. He stopped often and threw one small piece onto the ground behind him. His father asked, "Why do you stop?" Hansel said, "I am looking at my little bird on the roof." The woman said, "That is not a bird. That is the sun." But Hansel was making a trail of breadcrumbs on the road. The woman took them much deeper into the forest, this time deeper than they had ever been before. Again, the father made a big fire. Again, the woman said, "Sit here. We will go and cut wood. We will come back in the evening." At noon, Gretel shared her piece of bread with Hansel because he had no bread left. Then they fell asleep. When it was dark, nobody came. The children woke up and waited. Hansel said, "When the moon comes up, we will follow the breadcrumbs home." The moon rose, but they could not find any crumbs. The birds of the forest had eaten every single one. Hansel said, "We will find the way soon." But they did not find it. They walked all night and all the next day. They found only 2 or 3 small berries to eat. They were very tired and very hungry. They sat down under a tree and slept again. The next morning they got up and walked again. They went deeper and deeper into the forest. If nobody helped them, they would die from hunger. Then, at the middle of the day, they saw a beautiful white bird sitting on a branch. It sang a very pretty song. When the song was done, the bird flew away. The children followed it. The bird led them to a small house. When they came closer, they saw that the house was made of bread. The roof was made of cake, and the windows were made of clear sugar. "We will eat," said Hansel. "I will eat a piece of the roof, and you can eat the window." They started to eat. A soft voice came from inside the house. "Nibble, nibble. Gnaw, who is nibbling at my little house?" The children answered, "The wind, the wind, only the wind." And they kept eating. Suddenly the door opened. A very old woman came out. She walked with sticks. Hansel and Gretel were very scared and stopped eating. But the old woman smiled and said, "Oh, dear children, who brought you here? Come inside. Nothing bad will happen to you." She took their hands and led them into the house. She gave them a big meal milk, sweet pancakes, apples, and nuts. Then she made 2 little beds with clean white sheets. Hansel and Gretel lay down and thought they were in heaven. But the old woman was not kind. She was a wicked witch. She had built the bread house to catch children. When a child came into her house, she cooked and ate it. Witches have red eyes and cannot see well, but they can smell people from far away. When she smelled Hansel and Gretel, she laughed and said, "I have them now. They will not escape." Part 3. The witch is defeated. Early in the morning, before the children woke up, the witch got up. She looked at Hansel and Gretel sleeping. Their cheeks were pink and round. "What a good meal," she said. She grabbed Hansel with her thin hand, carried him to a small stable, and locked him inside. He screamed, but it did not help. Then she went to Gretel and shook her awake. "Get up, lazy girl," she said. "Cook something good for your brother. He is in the stable. I am going to make him fat, and then I will eat him," Gretel cried. But she had to do what the witch said. Every day the witch went to the stable and said, "Hansel, put out your finger. I want to feel if you are fat." But Hansel put out a small bone instead of his finger. The witch had bad eyes and could not see well. She thought it was his finger. She could not understand why he was not getting fat. After 4 weeks, the witch was not patient anymore. She said, "Gretel, bring water. Fat or thin, tomorrow I will cook Hansel and eat him." Gretel cried when she carried the water. She said, "Dear God, please help us." The next morning, Gretel had to make a fire and heat a big pot of water. "First we will bake," said the witch. "I have already made the dough and heated the oven." She pushed Gretel to the oven. Fire was coming out of it. "Climb in," said the witch, "and check if it is hot enough for bread." But she wanted to close the door and cook Gretel too. Gretel understood what the witch wanted to do. She said, "I do not know how to get in. Can you show me?" The witch said, "Silly girl, look, the door is big enough." "Even I can get in." The witch put her head into the oven. Then Gretel pushed her hard all the way into the oven and closed the iron door with a bolt. The witch screamed terribly, but Gretel ran away. The evil witch burned to death. Gretel ran to the stable as fast as she could. She opened the door and shouted, "Hansel, we are free! The old witch is dead!" Hansel jumped out of the stable like a bird out of a cage. They were so happy. They hugged each other, kissed each other, and danced. They were not scared anymore. They went into the witch's house. In every corner they found boxes full of pearls and precious stones. "These are much better than pebbles," said Hansel. He put as many as he could into his pockets. Gretel filled her apron with them too. "Now let us leave this witch's forest," said Hansel. They walked for 2 hours. Then they came to a wide stretch of water. "We cannot cross it," said Hansel. "There is no bridge and no boat." Gretel saw a white duck swimming on the water. She called to it, "Little duck, little duck, do you see Hansel and Gretel are waiting for thee? There is no bridge and no boat in sight. Please carry us over on your back." So white, the duck swam to them. Hansel sat on its back and wanted Gretel to sit with him. "No," said Gretel, "that is too heavy for the little duck. She will take us one at a time." The good little duck carried first one child, then the other, safely across the water. After that, they walked on. The forest became more and more familiar. At last, they saw their father's house far away. They began to run. They burst through the door and jumped into their father's arms. The father had not had one happy day since he left his children in the forest, and the woman was now dead. Gretel opened her apron, and all the pearls and precious stones rolled across the floor. Hansel threw one handful after another from his pockets. All their worries were over. They all lived together in happiness. My tale is done. There runs a mouse. Whoever catches it may make a big fur hat from it.
Подпишись, пожалуйста, или хотя бы поставь лайк. Один лайк не меняет мир, но меняет путь того, кто делится смыслом.